Welcome to the Virtual Teacher Newsletter and, rather amazingly, newsletter number 313. Yep, 313. For more than 20 years, I've been sharing ideas about teaching, learning, technology, and, increasingly, the thing I think matters most of all, curiosity. Did you hear about the kindergarten kids who thought 2 dice might add up to 300? Others guessed 100 or 21 or 12. So we used 3 rather splendid words. We don't know. And then 3 even better ones. Let's find out. And that's when everything changed. Same dice, same addition, same mathematics. But now the kids were investigating, testing ideas, making decisions, discovering things for themselves. Eventually, they were designing their own games. The mathematics didn't change, the learning did. And while all that was going on, other kids were flying around the world, using their faces. Yes, their faces. Tilt your head left, the aircraft banks left. Look up, and off you go. No joystick, no controller, and, thankfully, no pilot's license. Technology is becoming rather splendid, which makes it slightly peculiar that one of our great ideas for discovering what children can do is still, pick up your pencils, we're doing a test. So this week, we're looking at $250 million worth of testing that doesn't teach, and asking whether we're measuring the thing that really matters. We're also busting the myth that AI steals. We move on to better AI mousetraps. And yes, we're going flying around the world using nothing but our faces. Quite a week. Have a wander through this week's amazing tools and absolutely splendid ideas. Try something, break something, discover something you didn't know yesterday. And above all, make learning easier, more productive, and a whole lot more fun. And here's a little mind candy for this week. Being ready is a myth. You start. You suck. You figure it out. You get better. And then you keep going. Michelangelo had a rather splendid way of putting it. Ancora imparo. I am still learning. He was 87. Not a bad thought to carry around for the week. Busting AI myths, one myth at a time. 2. AI steals from artists and creators. This is rubbish. I have heard students repeat this many times. Usually, it's not the result of careful thought. It's a slogan they've absorbed from the adults around them. The problem is that statements like this don't encourage discussion. They shut it down. So let's think about it. All human creativity is cumulative. Every generation builds on the knowledge, inventions, language, art, and ideas of those who came before. If learning from what came before is theft, then logically, we are all thieves. We use words we didn't invent, mathematics we didn't discover, and technologies we didn't create. Writers, artists, and inventors all build on the work of previous generations. We don't call that theft. We call it human progress. AI does something similar. It learns patterns from human knowledge and creates new combinations from what it has learned. The real questions are not whether AI steals. They are who controls training data, whether creators should be compensated, and how we balance innovation with creators' rights. If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. Isaac Newton. We all stand on the shoulders of those who have gone before. Nanos gigantum humerus incidentes, dwarfs sitting on the shoulders of giants. 12th century philosopher Bernard of Chartres. NAPLAN. $250 million and millions of hours not learning. An estimate of the true economic cost of NAPLAN is around $250 million every year, once testing, administration, preparation, and disruption to teaching are included. But the bigger cost is time. Around 1.3 million students participate in NAPLAN. At roughly 3 to 3.5 hours of testing, that's 4 to 4.5 million student hours every year. And that's before preparation. During those hours, students aren't learning, teachers aren't teaching. We need to assess student progress, but we don't need to stop learning to do it. Programs such as Khan Academy, Reading Eggs, and Mathletics already demonstrate another model. Students learn while the system assesses what they understand, identifies difficulties, and provides feedback. AI can take this much further, giving teachers continuous information about what students know and where they need help. The choice isn't NAPLAN or no assessment. It's assessment that interrupts learning versus assessment that enables learning. Why spend $250 million and millions of learning hours measuring learning when we could invest in systems that assess students while helping them learn? Testing doesn't teach. Good assessment can. Kids who want to learn exponentially. Prukar and Jason Clare announced the latest NAPLAN results, but they're measuring the wrong problem. 38% don't attend school regularly. 43% report classroom noise and disorder. 1 in 10 New South Wales secondary students was suspended in 2024. Almost half struggle to engage. Intellectual engagement starts falling in primary school. Here is the result that really matters. Kids who want to learn exponentially. Curiosity leads to interests. Interests lead to exploration. Exploration leads to more questions, more knowledge, and more learning. But bored, absent, distracted, disruptive, and disengaged students don't get onto that trajectory. We keep concentrating on how much children know, when the first job of education should be creating children who want to know. Alpha School continues to demonstrate what becomes possible when we rethink the model. Core academics in around 2 hours a day, leaving time for students to explore interests, passions, and real-world capabilities. Technology can increasingly teach and assess the basics as children learn. So why are we spending millions of hours testing them? The most important educational outcome isn't a NAPLAN score. It's a child who wants to learn. Fly the world, just with your face. Check out the video, a screen recording flying over Sydney. This is pretty splendid. Faceflight is free and lets you explore the world simply by moving your face. No joystick, no controller, just your webcam. Fly over cities, mountains, coastlines, and some of the most spectacular places on Earth. But there's a lot more hidden inside it. Open the settings icon and you can change how you travel. Pick the DeLorean, bike, golf, or football, and suddenly you're not restricted to the sky. You can land on the ground, explore at ground level, and then take off again. It turns Google Earth into something much closer to a game. Fly, drive, ride, land, take off, and explore wherever curiosity takes you, and you control it with your face. Try Faceflight. What does developing human capability look like in a kindergarten classroom? The other day I was working with a kindergarten class. The children were rolling 2 dice, adding the numbers, and covering the answer on a printed game board. Like so many classroom activities, it came with detailed PowerPoint instructions. Nothing wrong with it. The kids were practicing addition. But what if the purpose was also to develop human capability? The learning design changes. Instead of starting with instructions, start with a question. If we roll 2 dice, what is the highest total we could get? What is the lowest? The guesses were wonderful. Highest, 20, 21, 12, 100, 11, 300. Lowest, 0, 1, 2, 3. And then came 3 of my favourite words in education. We don't know. So, let's find out. Working with a partner, the children rolled the dice 20 times and recorded what happened on mini whiteboards. There was no prescribed recording method. Different children worked it out in different ways. Then we compared discoveries. Did anyone get 0? What about 1? Did anyone get 13? Why not? Now they had something worth thinking about. Once they'd discovered which totals 2 dice could produce, instead of being given a game, they created one. Choose the numbers, design the board, decide the rules, play it with a partner, change it if it doesn't work. Suddenly, the learning design had shifted from telling to questioning, from directing to discovering, from following to deciding, from completing to creating, from teacher ownership to student ownership, from compliance to autonomy. Same dice, same addition, but now students are discovering, deciding, creating, testing, negotiating, and explaining. No template, no single right answer. The goal isn't simply to practice addition. The goal is to develop human capability. The mathematics hasn't changed, the learning design has. And when you change the learning design, everything changes. A lot of companies are trying to sell schools a better AI mousetrap, personalised learning, instant lesson generation, automated assessment, student engagement, teacher workload reduction, future-ready skills, learning analytics, AI tutors. These are all genuine claims you'll find on AI in education websites. Some are useful, some are overstated, some work well in the right context, some don't. That's not the real problem. The real problem is that you have no basis for choosing between them until you first decide what education is trying to achieve. If your goal is to deliver content, prepare students for tests, manage behaviour, or move children more efficiently through a standardised system, you'll choose one kind of AI. If your goal is to develop human capability, curiosity, judgment, creativity, communication, problem solving, autonomous learners, you'll choose something very different. Until schools define the purpose of education, selecting AI will be expensive, largely inappropriate, and driven more by marketing than educational purpose. You'll be persuaded to sign up for monthly subscriptions because the promises sound compelling. But a better mousetrap is useless if you don't know what the AI in education mouse looks like. Here's this week's checkout list. Check out FaceFlight. It's a free browser-based 3D flying game where you use your face and head movements via the webcam to control a hang glider as you fly over real-world 3D locations. Take a look at Eigendrum. Is an interactive tool that lets you draw or select different drum shapes, strike them, and hear how the shape and striking point change the sound they produce. Fabulous for introducing 2D shapes and well as sound frequencies. This 8K video of the animal kingdom and wild animals is fantastic. I play this when kids are coming in after a break. The images are amazing and labelled and fascinating. The Teller app turns any name or word you type into a visual alphabet design, spelling it out using real-world objects and images shaped like each letter. And you can download the image. This newsletter is not free, despite the rather misleading advertising above. Your fee is now due. Each week, you must help one colleague with AI or technology who knows less than you do. Show them something, fix something, visit their classroom, do a little research. If you don't know the answer, find out and get back to them. That's it. That's the subscription fee. If everyone who reads this helps just one other person, we might actually get technology doing something useful in classrooms. Okay, I'm trusting you.